Welcome to our 2020 Media Awards. You won't want to miss the award recipients or videos you'll be seeing during this segment. These are always amazing, and there's always a surprise or two as well. Every year, MHA recognizes journalists, authors, digital platforms, media outlets, television shows, and filmmakers who have tackled the issues of mental illness and addiction, and in doing so have educated and informed us all. This year's MHA 2020 Media Award recipients include 6 outstanding and diverse examples across multiple platforms. First up, Sesame Workshop. As many of you know, Sesame Workshop is the nonprofit educational organization behind Sesame Street, the pioneering television show that has been reaching and teaching children since 1969. Today, Sesame Workshop is an innovative force for change, with a mission to help kids everywhere grow smarter, stronger, and kinder. Sesame is present in more than 150 countries, providing almost 200 million children with access to life-changing early education, critical health lessons, and helpful tools to build resilience from tough situations. Their Social Impacts Division educates people about a host of issues that impact children's mental health, including traumatic experiences, autism, gender equality, and helping military children and families thrive when parents are deployed. Their initiative, Sesame Street and Communities, is an example of the significant impact Sesame is having with children and families around the country. Let's take a look.
Young children are full of potential. But adversity can stifle that potential. Too many children struggle with poverty, poor nutrition and health, and even tougher issues like the incarceration of a parent. All of these can contribute to stress in kids that can be obstacles to healthy development. But we can help if we intervene early. With the right support from caring adults, children can overcome many of life's challenges, big and small.
We see the gamut in terms of really hard things that could happen to young children. But what we know is that if it's shareable, it's bearable, and we can learn to put words to it and start to make sense of it, it loses its power over us.
We launched Sesame Street and Communities to empower parents and on-the-ground partners with materials, support, and years of Sesame Street experience that can give children a healthy, foundational start.
We knew that if we had our community connections, coupled with the trust that the brand that Sesame Street has and the experience they have bringing high-quality early childhood education, health, wellness programming to kids and their families, that we could really make a positive impact.
Sesame Street and Communities can make sure kids are prepared for school, encourage them to stay healthy,
what did you have for breakfast this morning?
And critically important these days, learn how to bounce back from traumatic experiences.
Big Bird, you know what I like to do to feel calm?
I go to my safe place.
Your safe place?
That's right. It is a place in my imagination where I...
Social emotional education and learning is really important, and that's something that I don't think we're doing enough of. And having Sesame Street and all of these amazing tools and resources that can only enhance the conversation that we're currently having is just kind of a perfect match in my mind.
Sesame Street has always taken on tough issues facing children.
My parents are divorced.
Using Sesame Street materials and characters help communicate, and already having that language that the child knows makes our job so much easier.
And now, with the help of our partners, we're bringing our lessons directly into the hands of children and families who need them most.
When do you get to see your mom?
Not that much,
How come?
because she's in prison.
Oh, she is?
Yeah.
It must be really hard.
It's using Muppets to tell the story allows them to not feel alone in their experience. It shows them that other people and characters have felt the same things that they're feeling.
Come here.
Children can grow from their experiences and out of their experiences into wonderful people.
Whether it's helping children overcome difficult circumstances or simply helping parents with the routines of the day, we're bringing Sesame Street to every street, giving all children a chance to thrive.
Accepting MHA's 2020 Media Award on behalf of Sesame Workshop is Jeanette Betancourt, Senior Vice President for its U.S. Social Impact Division.
Thank you so much, Paul, and Mental Health America. We are so grateful and honored by this award. To receive the 2020 Mental Health America Media Award is both a privilege and an honor, primarily because we share the same mission. The mission is that together we're bringing awareness around what it is to bring mental health and to understand mental illness across our nation. We know that to prevent mental illness, we have to start early. And those fundamental factors of increasing awareness on social emotional learning for young children, and also to support the adults around them to create nurturing connections, and more importantly, to also know that there is no stigma around mental health illness. You had the pleasure before I came on to see our reel around Sesame Street and communities. Sesame Workshop is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to help children around the world become smarter, stronger, and kinder. And through every move and every action that we take, we believe that we must bring children's perspectives into mind and improve their well-being. And the best way that we do that is through partnerships like Mental Health America and others who are committed to understanding what well-being means. It is an honor and a pleasure to be together and committed to our children's well-being and to parents and caregivers. When we do this work, we understand a couple of things. One, that in order to do so, we need to understand what social emotional learning is for young children. How do we support their growth and nurturing connections? Second, we also need to understand what trauma is and traumatic experiences. And through all of our resources on sesamestreetandcommunities.org, our goal is to create a circle of care. Whether that circle of care is important adults addressing trauma or our most recent focus on a health emergency due to a pandemic, or to deal with parental addiction or even suicide. In all of those instances, we have shared an approach and we shared a commitment. To drive change, we must bring awareness to start early and nurture our young children's well-being. So together, by this award, it really symbolizes our continued commitment and our grateful nature in partnering with Mental Health America to continue our work together. We are grateful, we are honored, and I leave you with the fact that as you walk away, please use our resources on sesamestreetandcommunities.org to continue our mission together. Thank you.
Next up, Hannah Dreier for print journalism with the Washington Post. Hannah Dreier is a Wesleyan-educated journalist who won the 2019 Pulitzer Prize for feature writing. She is being honored today by MHA for revealing the trauma faced by young immigrants held in detention as they arrive in America, and the astonishing and inhumane reaction to that trauma by the United States government. She reported on the experience of Kevin Yasuda, a teenager who confided in a therapist at a migrant child shelter and now faces deportation as a result. The piece made the trauma of one young migrant real to readers across the country, and was one of the most read in the Washington Post for days, with more than 1 million readers. The story was the first to explore the kind of therapy migrant children are given in detention. It also broke news about how those therapy notes are used and misused. Hannah's work revealed that the United States government was requiring detained migrant children to attend therapy and then sharing the things they told therapists with ICE to be used against them in court. The reporting had instant impact, with legislation introduced in the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives, an internal federal audit, and policy changes in migrant child therapy rooms around the country. We are so grateful to Hannah and for she and the Washington Post shining a light on this issue. Let's hear directly from Hannah as she reads aloud a few paragraphs from her story.
It was time for another hearing in the ongoing U.S. efforts to deport a Honduran teenager named Kevin Uceda, who had already been in detention for more than 2 years. In a Northern Virginia courtroom, U.S. Immigration Judge Helen Perlman peered at a TV screen as a detainee came into blurry view. A slight 19-year-old with deep dimples and a V-shaped scar on his forehead. "Buenos dias," Kevin said, hoping this was the day he would find out about his request for asylum, and then tried to follow along as Perlman began to explain the latest twist. Kevin was watching from a remote detention center. On one side of the judge, he could see his lawyers, ready to argue that he should be freed immediately. Across from them was a lawyer for the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Service, there to argue that Kevin should be deported. And in front of them all, inside a thick folder, was an old report from a shelter for immigrant children that was the reason for the long-running matter of Kevin Uceda. Quote, "Youth reports history of physical abuse, neglect, and gang affiliation in country of origin. Unaccompanied child self-disclosed selling drugs. Unaccompanied child reports being part of witnessing, torturing, and killing, including dismemberment of body parts," the report said. The person who had signed it, a therapist at a government shelter for immigrant children, who had assured Kevin that their sessions would be confidential. Instead, the words Kevin spoke had traveled from the shelter to one federal agency and then another, followed him through 3 detention centers, had been cited in multiple ICE filings arguing for his detention and deportation, and now, in the fall of 2019, were about to be used against him once again. This kind of information sharing was part of the Trump administration's strategy that is technically legal, but professional therapy associations say is a profound violation of patient confidentiality. To bolster its policy of stepped-up enforcement, the administration is requiring that notes taken during mandatory therapy sessions with immigrant children be passed on to ICE, which can then use these reports against minors in court. Intimate confessions, early traumas, half-remembered nightmares, all have been turned into prosecutorial weapons, often without the consent of the therapists involved, and always without the consent of the minors themselves, in hearings where the stakes can be life and death.
Thank you so much to Mental Health America for this honor. This story revealed for the first time that the Trump administration was requiring detained migrant children to attend therapy sessions, and then using information the young migrants confided in therapists to argue for their deportation in court. My reporting focused on the case of Kevin Uceda, an orphan who fled violence in Honduras. Kevin trusted in a therapist in Texas, only to have ICE take his words and use them against him in court for years to argue for his deportation. This piece had an immediate impact and led to the end of this practice of breaching young people's right to confidentiality. I am so grateful to the dozens of shelter therapists I spoke with for taking real risks to help me get this story out. I'm grateful to the Post for helping make sure the story was told in the way it needed to be told, and of course to Kevin for taking the biggest risks of all and trusting me with his story. And thank you to Mental Health America for highlighting and encouraging this kind of complex, time-consuming reporting on some of the most vulnerable people in this country. Thank you.
Next up, KXAN TV in Austin, Texas, my old hometown. KXAN knew that Texas health experts estimated that 1 in 6 students is significantly affected by mental illness. Many drop out of school, wind through the juvenile justice system, and even end their own lives. Away from home, schools are often where these mental health concerns arise. As state leaders aim to tackle this critical campus safety issue, KXAN decided to explore potential solutions across Texas and beyond by creating the Save Our Students initiative. The station created a multi-page digital project featuring more than 40 stories that were also shared with other Nexstar stations in Texas Online. KXAN utilized Facebook Live and digital chats on KXAN.com to explain the project and to take questions from viewers. More than 50 KXAN staff members worked on the project in some way, including the 7 reporters and 5 photographers behind the stories. The team traveled across the country, including California, Ohio, and all over Texas, to report these solution-oriented stories. This project launched as a partnership with the Solutions Journalism Network, which provided guidance and feedback over the course of the 8 months it took to complete. Let's take a look.
Sometimes the signs aren't this easy to see. KXAN has dedicated our resources, traveling across the state and the nation, discovering innovative ways schools are approaching mental health. From school bus drivers spotting warning signs to how motivational notes are helping boost self-esteem. We want to start a conversation that could lead to solutions right here at home.
Online now, explore our digital project, Save Our Students, Solutions for Wellness and Safety. See why we're taking a closer look at this important topic. Stories from across the nation, in-depth conversations with school workers on the front line, interactive analysis of what's happening with mental health and your children, plus community outreach and resources to get help for your family. It's all online now at SaveOurStudentsTX.com.
Santa Fe was a school shooting that happened in 2018. It's kind of what led to school districts really focusing on where can we get the right solution for our students and get this done correctly.
There are so many parents out there who have talked about what's happening in their child's school that we're seeing enough problems that we felt like this is something that needs to be tackled right now, and we want to take a different approach to it.
Solutions journalism is actually looking into things that are working.
What were advantages of this solution?
Can they be implemented in our community or other communities?
Our research took us to Lubbock, our research took us to Ohio, and our research even took us all the way to California. If you turn to a program that is showing success,
training its bus drivers to look for students who are potentially suicidal.
A group of moms starting a movement.
There's this new mental health care consortium.
Enhanced video security, enhanced radio systems.
Why would you not want to consider that for your own community?
This is a project we've been working on for months. It involves almost 40 people from our newsroom. That's half of our entire staff. That's how important this project is to us. We want to make sure we do it right.
The fact that we work at a place that has slowed down and said, what are some of the things that are most fundamentally important to our community and how can we do a deep dive and address that? It makes me proud.
Look for our KXAN pop-up newsroom in the first base hour concourse. Good luck to the Express team.
And so it's back to school time, and are your kids do they get nervous? Do they get excited? What is the?
She gets excited. Anthony's the one who gets nervous. He gets nervous.
He started kindergarten.
And what are your thoughts on that?
His concern before school started was about bullies.
Which is an open conversation about what's working, maybe what's not working, and some things that probably parents should know about how counseling works.
Adults often don't think about what teens are thinking.
Like, your parents want you to talk to them about stuff that you go through, but like when you tell them stuff, they react different.
I would first like to take an opportunity to thank KXAN for tackling such an important topic.
We are encouraging you to text your questions tonight to our panel and simply send that message to 22333.
We're so happy to have you here tonight. My name is Roger Wallace. I'm the sports director at KXAN TV, and I'll be your host for tonight.
To simply share ideas from one community to the next and get people thinking and talking and ultimately taking action.
I want to express my thanks to KXAN for really, giving us the opportunity to have this conversation, for doing some great stories, because this is what we need. We need to talk about this.
Anytime when we are bringing mental health to the forefront in this way, it's really important because, again, it creates opportunities for us to have conversations that maybe we haven't had before. I firmly believe that journalism has this opportunity to be a powerful force for bringing to the surface some of the concerns of the community in a really powerful way. pairing that with these town hall events where you really had an opportunity then to have local experts come in and talk about the things that were happening in their own school districts.
Here on KXAN News Today, superintendents from across Central Texas are giving you insight on the safety and well-being of your children.
Just this year, we've added a brand new position, a licensed clinical social worker.
It's important that we support our students in many different ways. We also have 45 mental health centers throughout our school district.
We're really working with an initiative called 100% Haze to make sure that every single kid is involved in something.
Watch KXAN News Today.
Accepting on behalf of KXAN is Josh Hinkle.
Hello, I'm Josh Hinkle, Director of Investigations and Innovation at KXAN TV. On behalf of the entire station, we would like to thank Mental Health America for honoring our Save Our Students project with the 2020 Media Award. We would also like to thank our partners, the Solutions Journalism Network, for their support and guidance as we focused on such important issues in our nation today, school safety and mental health. To explore KXAN's entire project, go to SaveOurStudentsTX.com. Again, thank you so much.
Next, Lift the Mask, Portraits of Life with a Mental Illness, a documentary by the Quell Foundation. The film reveals and addresses systemic problems with social and cultural stigma and the challenges associated with gaining access to effective treatment. The film captures 6 individuals from a variety of backgrounds, living with different mental health diagnoses, who, in recounting their own experiences, speak directly to these issues. It addresses how the criminal justice system is ill-prepared and under-resourced to manage the mental health of their population of people, and sheds light on the difficulty of finding and maintaining medications that work once achieving access to proper and timely treatment. Several of the film's subjects speak directly to the deleterious efforts associated with a severe shortage of mental health care providers. Each story shares how the acceptance and understanding of a loved one, often a parent or partner, is one of the most crucial and challenging aspects of proper care for somebody struggling with a mental illness. Let's watch.
It began with having much more paranoia than any child should have.
It's like you can't come up for air. It's almost as if all your hopes and dreams just disappear.
He would say, "Dad, I'm going to tell you, it's like I'm sitting on the steps watching myself do something that I wish I wouldn't do, but I can't stop myself."
What many people think is that this is a moral issue, not a medical one.
So whenever you go to a psychologist, you are crazy. Because of that pressure, I felt kind of like, I shouldn't do that because I don't have a problem.
Is this gonna be the new Michaela? Is that old Michaela gone? Are we ever gonna see her happy again? Is she ever gonna smile again?
He had started to feel really badly. He called a psychiatrist, like, we can see you in January. Like, we can't wait until January. So literally he was like white knuckling it.
I was right here looking at that house and realizing that he would never be back here again.
I would tell people that she died of cancer because that was respectable.
If you had a friend or a loved one that could not see the light at the end of the tunnel, would you go sit with them in the dark?
There's always a piece of me that's hopeful, always.
She said, "Mom, I feel better."
What reaches people the most is when they find out that someone in their daily life has gone through something terrible and they're still the same person that they had grown to love. That's how the fear stops.
Accepting MHA's 2020 Media Award for Lift the Mask is my good friend Kevin Lynch, President and CEO of the Quell Foundation.
My name is Kevin Lynch, and I'm the founder and the CEO of the Quell Foundation. I'd first and foremost like to say congratulations to the other award recipients this evening. I would also like to thank Paul Gianfredo and Erin Wallace and the entire selection committee for recognizing the Quell Foundation for this very prestigious award. I would also like to say thank you to John and Nina Stanley of Mod Worldwide for joining me as executive producers of Lift the Mask, Portraits of Life with Mental Illness. Director Mark D'Agostino and the team at Mod Worldwide devoted months of tireless work to rendering 200 hours of filming into this powerful one-hour documentary. This award belongs to the selfless people that invite us into their personal lives to share the challenges that they face living with or supporting those with an unwelcomed and unsolicited mental health diagnosis. Each of you have given a beautiful face to mental health and removed the stigma and normalized the conversation for the thousands of people around the country who have seen and heard your stories. So thank you to Liz and Dennis Charpentier, to Michaela Kearney, to Kara Callett, to Claire, Tanya, Michael, and Michelle Griffiths, and to Abdul Ali Al-Kaf. Thank you so much for what you've done for mental health. This documentary has been privately viewed by over 5,000 people in the last year. Attendees were invited to participate in the national study to determine the efficacy of the film's ability to positively influence attitudes, understandings, and behaviors around this stigmatized subject of mental health. Our research, being conducted in conjunction with Penn State Hershey Medical Center's epidemiologist, Dr. Christian Schneider, has shown that there were statistically significant increases in the respondents' willingness to rent a room in their home to somebody with a mental health illness, to work with or recommend someone for a job with someone that they know, to introduce someone with a mental health illness to their friends, and to welcome someone with a mental health diagnosis to be the caretaker of their children. These are powerful and telling results. Mental Health America, recognizing the Lift the Mask Portraits of Life with Mental Illness for the Media Award, is yet further attestation to the value of film in overcoming a negative stereotype and stigmas. Over the last few months, the world has been thrown into a global pandemic. As the number of cases of COVID-19 increases, so did the associated experiences of anxiety, depression, and suicide. On behalf of the Quell Foundation, I would like to congratulate Mental Health America for their ability to stop on a dime, change course, and bring this event to a virtual audience. Once again, you have addressed what is most needed in this country today, to recognize that mental health and the effects of COVID-19 are as important to address as physical health effects, and you are doing so in an equitable way. Once again, thank you so much for honoring us with this award.
Next up, WSOC-TV out of Charlotte, North Carolina, led by executive Kim Holt and anchor Erica Bryant, committed to telling the community impact of mental illness across its 22-county viewing area. The station developed an hour-long primetime television special focused on mental health entitled Charlotte's Hidden Crisis. The live broadcast featured pre-recorded vignettes featuring individuals and families discussing what it's like to live with a mental health diagnosis, suicide attempts and loss, and the challenge associated with seeking mental health services. The station also developed a printed and online resource guide that featured mental health resources. To ensure that viewers connected to those services, the station hosted a live phone bank that was staffed by local mental health advocates and clinicians. Call bank volunteers answered more than 700 calls from Spanish and English-speaking callers on the day of the broadcast. The station also began working on a second Charlotte's Hidden Crisis live broadcast for December 2019. This live broadcast focused on veterans' mental health, normalizing therapy, social media and mental health, the stigma of medication, and the signs of suicide. WSOC made a commitment to use appropriate, non-stigmatizing language and accurate data when reporting on deaths by suicide and mental health overall. Here's a brief summary of some of their work.
People don't understand mental health, it's there and it's real.
There shouldn't be that stigma around it.
It's not a social thing, it's not a race thing. It's an everybody thing.
For a long time, I suffered in silence. I would get these scary thoughts.
I just couldn't breathe.
I had no idea I was dealing with depression.
I knew as a mom something was off.
I didn't know how to talk to anybody about it.
You were told, man up.
What's wrong with you? You need to be strong.
Cheer up.
Suck it up.
Don't cry.
That one thought can lead to a million thoughts of why you're not good enough.
There is help.
There is hope.
It's going to take a village.
It's okay to say, I need help.
I wasn't crazy, I just needed direction, I needed understanding, I needed community, I needed love.
I can overcome this.
Recovery is possible.
Mental health is there, and it needs to be talked about.
You're not alone.
When you get the help, that's when you find the hope.
Charlotte's Hidden Crisis. There is help. There is hope. Now, from Channel 9 Eyewitness News, Erica Bryant and Scott Wickersham.
It's an epidemic that doesn't see race, gender, or age, sometimes hidden behind a forced smile. Other times, the pain is on full display.
1 in 4 people are affected by mental illness. It's not talked about enough, and too many people are going through this alone.
While you may not have a mental health issue, chances are a loved one, a friend, or a neighbor does.
Well, tonight we are here to show you there is help and there is hope.
Many of you may not know where to turn, but there are resources for everyone, even for those who don't have insurance.
But how do you know if someone is struggling? What signs should you look for? And how would you even start that conversation?
Tonight, we take you through all of that and introduce you to survivors who explain what helped them to overcome their darkest moments.
This room of mental health professionals has been talking to people, accepting phone calls from people from all walks of life for the past 8 hours. You can see them here right now. It looks like all of them are on the phone right now. It really just shows you the need. They have been answering calls from veterans, from women who've just given birth, from people of all ages dealing with PTSD, anxiety, questions about suicidal thoughts. They are connecting people to resources in their community. Each of them has one of these, a resource guide right in front of them, and there's a number on your screen that you can call to connect with one of these volunteers. They will help get you help in your community.
We've also compiled resources for every county in our viewing area at WSOCTV.com and on our app. Just look for the Mental Health Resources headline there under the News tab. If you scroll down, you can see a map here, and there's symbols for different areas. I mean, click on Charlotte, and you can see a full list of resources for each county.
And now a quick note for our Spanish-speaking audience. Contamos con operadores voluntarios en español con información sobre salud mental. Los teléfonos están abiertos hasta las 10 de la noche. El número es 1-800-950-3739.
We asked 4 people who know the pain and heartache of substance misuse to write down words that open the floodgates of guilt and shame.
My word is drunk.
Dope fiend.
Junkie.
I chose drug addict.
We say misuse instead of abuse because it is more accurate and it is not considered a put down. The words they chose are addict, junkie, dope fiend, and drunk. Of course, there are many more.
Those kinds of hurtful words keep the cycle alive, because what would happen is it would make me feel so bad about myself. What I would have to do is drink to make that pain go away.
People facing mental health challenges also have words they'd like to see stricken.
Mental, loony, cuckoo, crazy, deranged, sick.
Dr. Trasia Black is a counselor with Genesis Project One.
We battle shame. That's one of the biggest things that folks work on in therapy, is how they see themselves. And all those words that people have used, they stick.
The result? People avoid therapy. Now you know what not to say. What should you say? For mental health, never call someone crazy. Say they live with or have been diagnosed with a mental health disorder. Instead of alcoholics and addicts, try people with alcohol or drug problems or dependencies. Instead of former addicts, say person in recovery.
Accepting the MHA 2020 Media Award for WSOC is Erica Bryant.
Hello, I'm Erica Bryant of WSOC TV in Charlotte, and it is with great pride and gratitude that I accept this award on behalf of our entire team. The issue of mental health truly is Charlotte's hidden crisis, but we're working to change that. We see it as a responsibility and an honor to serve our community by connecting mental health resources to those who need them most. I want to recognize and publicly thank our local chapter of Mental Health America of Central Carolinas. We could not have done this without their support and expertise. It is inspiring how much the entire team there cares about the Charlotte community. And to everyone else who's doing this work across the country, thank you for what you are doing and for acknowledging our efforts. There is still so much more to do to make sure that our community knows that there is help and hope. And we want you to know we're here for it. Thank you.
Finally, My Ascension, a feature-length documentary that chronicles a suicide attempt that left 16-year-old varsity cheerleader Emma Benoit paralyzed. Her journey propelled her on a mission to use her painful experience to help others find hope, while shining more light on the fact that 20 young people die every day by suicide in the United States. The film shows Emma's inspiring journey and quest to walk again as she works to bring Hope Squad, a school-based peer-to-peer suicide prevention program, to Louisiana. The film also highlights the stories of two remarkable young people who tragically did not survive their attempts. And we learned firsthand from their families, friends, school officials, and suicide prevention experts about the devastating effects of suicide and what can be done to prevent it. Let's take a look.
If Emma Benoit is gone, then no one has to think about her anymore. No one has to worry about her anymore. She's gone, and that's it.
911, what's that? Oh my God, my daughter shot herself. Okay, is she breathing? Yes, ma'am, she's breathing. Stay with me, baby girl, please. I want you to say now, every single time she takes a breath in. Now. Now. Now.
I didn't have a clue she was struggling.
Seeing her in ICU, she looked broken, completely.
You start thinking immediately, where did I go wrong? Cheerleader, great grades in school, popular. Not Emma.
They said I may walk or I may not. They said there's a 1% chance that I will. For as long as I can remember, I have struggled with anxiety and depression. Well, it's the first time I've ever admitted that.
There is no age that is more likely to think about suicide and attempt suicide than high school kids.
We're afraid to talk about suicide. We think if we talk about it, it's going to give someone the idea. When the reality is young people don't want to die, they want their pain to go away.
But your story will say to someone out there thinking about death, maybe I need to pause.
I don't know if I want to put it out there for the world to see what I really have been through and what I'm going through. How? I just know that if it saves at least one person, or even helps one person to just stand up and be like, I have those feelings and I have those thoughts, and not to be ashamed of it, then it's worth it.
A local teen who lived to talk about her suicide attempt is sharing her story with the world.
One of the things I'm most grateful for is this new perspective I have on life. I really do see colors brighter.
If we could do a better job in training how to help each other and actually begin to empowering young people, that to me is the secret.
I'll be your biggest cheerleader, but if you tell me you're good and you're not, I'm gonna get in your face.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have some talking to do.
I was just having so much suicidal thoughts. I would cry every day. I'm sure you understand.
Yeah, I do. I get it. It's so necessary that people understand how you're feeling.
As you know, St. James Parish lost a precious 15-year-old 10th grader.
Your pain was gone, but ours just began. You can't help but think, why? Why was I safe, but he wasn't?
We're drowning out here. We need a lifeguard to send out a raft and pull us ashore.
This is not a school issue. This is a community issue. I want you to see what you can do for suicide prevention.
Every single day I wake up and I'm like, how did I get here? but then I have to look back and remember how far I've come. To really be thankful. Maybe this is my calling, you know? Maybe my pain and suffering can help someone else.
I have this weird feeling. It's called hope.
It wasn't an easy journey coming to faith, but I'm working on it.
Accepting MHA's 2020 Media Award for My Ascension is the film's director and producer and 2019 Clifford Beers Award winner, Greg DeCherry, along with the star of the show, Emma Benoit.
When I say mental, you say
health.
Mental.
Health.
Mental.
Health.
America.
Mental Health America. Yes.
Okay, we need to practice a little more, but thank you so much, Mental Health America. We're so grateful for being a 2020 Mental Health America Media Award winner for My Ascension. It really means so much to us, and it's really amazing to get that validation and support and acknowledgement from an organization, particularly one of the stature of Mental Health America. As a person who's in recovery for mental health issues and has worked in the field for a while, I know that would not even be possible for someone, you know, like me to have been able to work in the mental health field if it really wasn't for Mental Health America and all the amazing advocates that y'all have supported over the years. It really have made it possible for people like me or people like us who have mental health challenges to not only stay alive, but to really thrive. So we're very excited about this, and I'm going to shut up now and let the star of the film say a few things.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for this honor of an award, Mental Health America. It means so much for Greg and I to receive an award like this. I mean, it has been a journey working on this film for the last, coming up on 3 years now. So, yeah, definitely did not foresee this in my future at all, but it is something that I'm extremely grateful for and a passion that I feel like burns stronger every day. So thank you again to Mental Health America for this phenomenal award. We really appreciate it.
Yes, and we're really grateful for the opportunity. The film is really about spreading awareness and really letting people know the importance of the topic of suicide in general, but really youth suicide. As you may or may not know, 20 young people die every day in the U.S. to youth suicide, and it's only going to change if we all work together. And so we really hope to work with you, and you can help spread awareness. Our film will be coming out hopefully fairly soon as we navigate this COVID release dates. But stay tuned. Check us out on the web, www.myascension.us.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
much
you guys.
Love. Appreciate you.
Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Such amazing examples of using media platforms to make a difference in mental health. Congratulations to all the winners of MHA's 2020 Media Award. And thank you for joining me in celebrating their important work. We'll take a brief break now. Just don't go too far.